Yeah.
And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Unfiltered Report. My name is Nick, also known as D. Today, we've got three wonderful guests for you to celebrate America's 250th birthday. What a great nation. What a great people. And first of all, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Shivam, our East Coast, New York City correspondent.
Yes, yes. Hello, Nick. Hello, everyone. Good to be here, as always, on the Unfiltered Report, and ready to get it going and talk about all the matches for the World Cup.
Hell yeah. All right. And also joining us, we've got Ladera Ranch's finest, Mr. Justin Perez. Or I should say, also known as Jason, of course.
What's up, guys?
Happy birthday
Oh,
to you.
Thank you.
oh, and of course, how could we ever? We cannot forget to introduce the CEO, the host, the creator, the founder of this wonderful, magnificent project, the Unfiltered Report. We've got Irvine's very own Ryan Reza Negabat.
Oh, thanks for using my full government name. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate the love as well. Let's get it cracking, fellas.
Yeah. All right. Well, so this is the
People gonna
first
come
time.
find us, man.
Oh, it's too late. They're already on that, man. Uh,
Uh, we're accelerating the timeline.
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, this is the first time we've all been together, have talked with each other since the beginning of the World Cup. So, just as a preliminary matter, I would love to get kind of your guys' just overlying views on how this tournament has gone so far. It started June 11th. Today is now July 5th. So we've had a lot of games been played. Um, we're now, halfway through the round of 16. So would love to get each of your guys's, you know, thoughts on how it's been, how it's been from a spectacle standpoint, how it's been from like a, personal viewing standpoint, just, any hot takes. I know we're big on hot takes on this Unfiltered Report. So yeah, I'll give the floor to you, Mr. Bot, as our East Coast correspondent.
Thank you, thank you. It's been great. It's been a phenomenal tournament. Again, I think so. Ryan and I were talking about this on a prior episode, but I'm not going to pretend to be a soccer expert by any means, but I am more of a casual viewer. But I do know I feel like I have enough knowledge to understand, the matchups going on, who has the higher advantage, who is kind of an underdog, every all the way from the group stages, the matchups all the way right now to the knockouts. And it's been great. I think from a viewing experience standpoint, as a fan. I've really enjoyed it. For like a few reasons. I think number one being the just the convenience of the tournament has been great. Like with the time zones, it's been very helpful. Having 2 to 3 matches a day, from like afternoon to night, uh, and it's like ongoing, right? It's nonstop every day. There's a couple of games, and they're in like that window where you have availability to watch them, at least on the weekends, and on the weekdays to an extent, and that's been really good. So just from a pure, I guess like, and through no fault of FIFA or the prior tournaments have not been in the Western time zones exactly, like Qatar, and before that we had Brazil, I think, and so. Um, and so that's been really good. And I think that's like really enhanced the experience for me. So the convenience has been great, and then also like just the overall spectacle, like just the level of stars. There's so many good stars in the World Cup, and that's been really awesome to watch across all the countries. from England's Harry Kane to Mbappe and Ronaldo, Messi. Today we saw Holland go crazy. And I'm like leaving out a bunch of great names as well in there. Um, and that's been great to see too. Like there's been like mini tournaments inside the broader tournament of like who can score the most goals. And today it's like tied as we saw after Holland's two scores. And so that'll be interesting to see. And like all of that, all of this has really contributed to a really, really awesome World Cup. Um, I think we were all younger in the prior tournaments, and maybe our memories are a bit distant. But so far, I certainly have found this one to be the most entertaining compared to the 2022, 2018, and 2014 tournaments, for sure. And yeah, I think a lot of surprises. We can get into the individual matches and who's surprised who. For me, I think I have to give a shout out to Cape Verde. They've really impressed me and just really happy for that whole country and their fans and their team. They really put up a good fight. Yeah, I guess like those are my high level takeaways. Just like so far it's been a great spectacle, a great event. And also, the third point being, and this kind of has to do with the first point, the time zone, is being in like a major metropolitan city like New York. And, for you guys, it's similar maybe in LA as well. But that's also added to the atmosphere, as being a host country, one of the host countries, the US. Everyone's really rallied around the sport and the tournament, and you best get that experience in like an urban area, an urban city, and that's really enhanced the experience, from everything from watching the games themselves in these cities to or to go into watch parties in cities and like just seeing the community really get around their favorite teams in the city, and that's really enhanced the experience too. Yeah, that those are just my takeaways though. Happy to hear your guys's.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's been a really good tournament so far. I know like the first couple like games like that, those like hydration breaks, kind of like ball busters, sort of in that like breaking up the momentum of the game, but I haven't minded it as much. And yeah, I think it's like been a really good like I'm pretty casual fan. I but like even then I did keep up with like a lot of soccer, so it was really fun seeing like all the players I know like do well. And then this tournament has been really great for like the stars of the tournament. I like obviously we want to see like those like guys coming out of nowhere. And there's still some players that like are still like doing like like it wasn't like out of the blue like like Diamande from like Ivory Coast or like Bouadi on Morocco like do well. But like these were players that like we kind of knew were doing well, and no one's having like that sort of like James type like run. But it's still been fun seeing like obviously like Messi's like get like break the record, Mbappe right behind him, Holland scoring as he normally does.
Mhm.
And then obviously you still have the fun stories of like the Cape Verde, even just seeing like Mexico, USA, or Colombia do like really well in their stage games, and like just seeing how like the fans react and like you feel the atmosphere, which is like pretty rare. Like you would forget that this is like in the USA, that like the atmosphere you're seeing at like some of these states. Oh, USA, Mexico, Canada. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun watching these games so far.
Yeah, for sure. I think you guys both made great points with regards to the time zones and how as soccer fans here in the States, we're so accustomed to, unfortunately, having to deal with, obviously the time, a lot of the big games that we watch in a calendar year happen in Europe, which obviously is not very convenient for us time wise. A lot of the big Champions League games, for example, happen, noon, around noon our time on the West Coast, and then for Shivam it happens 3 o'clock in the afternoon over there on the East Coast. So it's not really conducive to our schedules. And like you said, Shivam, with the two most recent World Cups being in Qatar and Russia, it's been, yeah, just it's been difficult. A lot of the big games in those World Cups have started at like, 4 in the morning, 7 in the morning. The latest the kickoffs would be for those World Cups would be like 10 or 12 in the afternoon. So yeah, it's been really nice for sure to have the big soccer games being played in a friendly time zone for once, whether it be the World Cup or Champions League or whatever. It's nice to have that, to be able to come home from work, and then you got a couple hours to make dinner and to just get settled in, and you still got we've had a couple kickoffs this tournament at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We even had a couple games kick off at 10 o'clock local West Coast time, which is really neat. And honestly, Ryan has said this before, but it would be, that's something that it'd be nice if that was obviously a more frequent occurrence, not just in soccer, but in other sports too. Obviously, there's issues with that because it's not really, um, it doesn't accommodate, of course, the rest of the world or even, the East Coast in our own country. But I think it's just nice for once to have a schedule that accommodates us. And it's allowed for us to be able to watch games that we otherwise maybe would have to just listen to while we're at work, or have to watch highlights for, not be able to enjoy from beginning to end. So, yeah, those are a couple big points. And also, yeah, just being a host country, um, you know, definitely, I think it's a little bit harder here in Orange County than, say, like a big metropolitan area like New York City, or even maybe, LA County. But um, to feel like the atmosphere, like, oh wow, there's a World Cup going on. Like sometimes if you drive certain parts of Orange County, you drive around and you have no idea there's a World Cup going on. But certain parts of LA, San Diego, Miami, Seattle, of course, Kansas City, which is a big soccer hub in this country, and then of course, like, New York City, Boston. Um, so that's why it's really cool to hear your perspective, Shivam. You know, being in a big city, and being in a big city which happens to be hosting plenty of games, and as well as the final itself. So,
Uh,
uh,
have you guys on the accommodation point, have you been able to keep up with most games live in this World Cup, or has there been some mix of like you record games and you watch it later, or has that been helpful? Like you can watch it, the time zone being allowing you to watch it live.
I would say so, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would probably always like sort of like make accommodations for like the game today, Norway, Brazil, like regardless of the time, I probably would have like watched that, or like any of like the US games. But it's nice to just like, that I can just watch like I think like in the previous World Cup I might not have watched like Netherlands, Morocco if it was at like, some like in the like very early morning or something like that.
yeah,
So I think it's helped me like the games that are like I guess it's just more enjoyable to watch. It's easier and makes it like watch the games that like I might as well just throw this, like I might as well just throw this game on, see what happens, and then be excited by whatever team is playing.
yeah. For me too, like there a lot of these games I would try to make accommodations for, even if they were in a different, like if the tournament was being held in Asia or Australia or Africa or Europe. Just because I tend to think of myself as a bit more towards the diehard. Uh, but yeah, I mean, definitely made it easier, having this tournament being in our time zone. Like, for example, like Jordan, Algeria. That game was on a Monday night, and it was at Santa Clara, home of the 49ers. That game kicked off at 8 p.m., like on a Monday night, and that's a game where I think, again, if this was back in Russia, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I still would definitely keep tabs of it, and I would maybe, depending on the day, I would maybe end up recording it, but it wouldn't be like the top priority of necessarily. But just because that game kicked off at 8 o'clock local time, I was like, yeah, I could throw that on and right before heading to sleep, and it was so those sort of things, yeah, like it's definitely obviously because there's so many games, because there's 48 teams, and there's like a lot more games in this World Cup than there have ever been in any other World Cup. You're not going to be able to watch every game regardless of the time zone and where you're situated in the world. But it like I said, it's just so nice. It's refreshing to be able to have games being played in a convenient time, and something I hope that we don't take for granted, because it's gonna, just as much as it's been nice for this World Cup, the next couple World Cups are gonna be back to status quo in terms of the next World Cup will be split between Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, and then in 2034 it'll be in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, it'll be a lot more difficult with those World Cups, but. Yeah, Ryan, how about you, man? I know you've been burning the midnight oil for a good chunk of this tournament, giving us daily recaps of all these games. So you might be the person who's consumed the most action end to end and of everyone in this call. So I'd love to get your thoughts.
No, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I mean, I think similar to you guys, I watch what I can, and you miss some things, you fill in the gaps. The 39 for 39 dream died, but it lives on in something like today, which makes it worthwhile. I think yeah, all in all, I think I've just enjoyed having the opportunity to talk about it with with the people that I love, my family, my parents, and then you guys, obviously, my family as well. So I think that's been probably the positive highlight for me. It's just been the conversations that you have, that kind of, I think that that'll stick with me more than anything. Beyond the matches themselves, it's just finding something that the people that are in tune with as well, and being able to be a fly on the wall and just hear your guys' perspectives is something that I feel like you can't really put a price on, especially because we don't all look at it the same way. So um, I think conversations like this are it's what makes the tournament. It's the positive part of it. For all the things you could critique and nitpick, and which there are definitely things that you can. You also don't want to lose sight of the positives, and I think that there will be time to get into the negatives and the nitpicking, but I think we could maybe save that and maybe talk more, at least in this rendition, on maybe more of the positive, uplifting portions, and that's been like what Shivam mentioned, being on the East Coast, and being in the city, and seeing all the different people, uh, you know, corner to corner in jerseys, and that communal aspect, and bringing people together. So I think that message of unity and positivity. We can critique a lot of things in due time, but I think for today, just hearing you guys' thoughts about some of the positive parts of it has been a, what's the word I'm looking for? A relief, maybe, in some ways. So, and I do want to get you guys' thoughts too. Actually, Shalom, I know you actually went to the game, went to the match yesterday, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that?
Was able
What
to.
was that like out on the East Coast? Obviously it's one thing to be able to watch it on TV, but being there in person, I don't know what that was like for you. I don't, because I don't know if as far as the atmosphere, was it loud? Was it just kind of casual? Was it hot and humid? Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was a special experience. So for context, I was able to watch the game yesterday in Philadelphia, where it was France versus Paraguay, round of 16. Um, and I feel like I haven't been to any American football games, but the atmosphere was just different. It's just been different for World Cup. It's just so much excitement, regardless of who's playing. And that's what I saw yesterday. I think, one, Philadelphia was a very welcoming city and it was organized very well. And the FIFA experience was great. And so FIFA's done a good job there. But also just overall, like going to the stadium and just you saw people from all corners of the world, arrive to the stadium, and everyone was excited to see the match. And there, like, and you saw American fans there too, like casual American viewers just coming to watch a good game. You had French fans, you had Paraguay fans coming in from their country visiting and watching the match, and so all of that combined, like, ca- gave like a really awesome experience. And I haven't even added the fact that it was the 4th of July, and so there was a great opening ceremony for that, for the 250th anniversary. All of those made like all those factors like made for a great experience, a great watching experience that like just simply you cannot compare it to watching it at home. Um, and like once the game actually started, the intensity from Paraguay fans, from France fans, it was just insane. Like every single play was like there was a reaction, Even non-plays, there were reactions. And whenever Mbappe would have the ball, you'd you would we were sitting in like this category in the section 100 area, which is like pretty low, and that's where all the Paraguay team fans were, and that was a lot of friends and family as well of their players, of the Paraguay national team's players. And whenever Mbappe had the ball, man, they would always be heckling him, and it was exciting to see. And whenever Paraguay would have the ball, those fans would all stand up, so you would have to stand up so you can actually watch the game and see the play unfold. And and it was exciting. I wish the match itself was more interesting than the excitement around it and the excitement in the stadium. But still, it was a good defensively physical battle between the two teams. And yeah, man, it was an awesome experience. If you guys have a chance or you know are able to get your hands on a ticket for any of the upcoming games, I highly recommend checking one out because it's like a an awesome experience. And yeah, so it was great. What did you guys think of the game though?
Jason, Justin, what do you think?
I don't have many thoughts on it. I didn't really watch
How
most of the
about in
game.
general?
Yeah.
Anything you're looking forward to for the rest of the way?
Um, Nothing in like particular. Just like
Well, we've got some great matches coming up with Mexico, England tonight, in about over an hour, and then we've got Portugal, Spain tomorrow. And then we've got U.S. and Belgium. Um, so all three of those matches I think are very tantalizing for various different reasons. And then of course Tuesday, Argentina, Egypt, and then Switzerland, Colombia. So yeah, and then of course the game we just saw, Brazil, Norway, which was wow. I mean, Shivam, I know you want to spread some Erling Haaland propaganda. So
Yeah, man. He's he's a special player. He obviously, as you guys know, today he really just demonstrated like his brilliance. Like it was the whole team, Norwegian team came to play, but it was really his show today, and that was special. I think really cemented himself into that Golden Boot race at 7 goals, now tied with Mbappe and Messi. Um, and I'm really excited to see. I think it'll unfold well for him. I like his chances even against England or Mexico. I think both either will be good matchups, and he can continue tallying up that that total. But yeah, today was an amazing performance, and he gets a lot of criticism, or not criticism, but just observationally, like a lot of people believe, and to some extent, it is justified that his goals come from a lot of well set up assists, and that was the case for one of them today. But he really kind of like showed that he is multidimensional. He can score from outside, as you saw with the second goal. And yeah, man, he's one of one, and I'm excited to see how far he can go. He can take this Norwegian team. Like I said, I like their chances coming up against England and or Mexico. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think any one of those big name stars, specifically the ones that are leading the Golden Boot race right now, whether it be Holland, Mbappe, Messi, Harry Kane as well. Like, there's always going to be a group of fans who do nothing but prey on their downfall and or just try to discredit any of their achievements or their style of play or whatever. But the four of us obviously, and I think real football fans really appreciate the greatness that all four of them, show it almost every time they go on a pitch. Um, and as someone who I tend to, I make no secret about it. Like I love to talk about players who aren't old. Like I don't, I think there's a big focus in this country about and how we cover sports and how like, it's so much about the individual and like, just the way that some of these games are promoted. Just, I mean, uh, for Spain versus Portugal, for example, Fox will do their whole spiel about it. Lamine Yamal takes on Cristiano Ronaldo, in Jerry World in Dallas tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Like, obviously, the game is not just between Ronaldo and Lamine Yamal, but they're going to showcase those guys because they generate headlines, they create discourse, and oftentimes they are the centerpiece of the game itself, and they are